One California restaurant owner's rage against the lockdowns went viral this week. Take a look.
Mayor Garcetti and Gavin Newsom is responsible for every single person that doesn't have unemployment, that does not have a job, and all the businesses that are going under. And we need your help. We need somebody to do something about this.
Joining me now is the owner of Pineapple Hill Saloon and Grill in Sherman Oaks, California, Angela Marsden. Angela, thank you so much for being with us, but most of all for that incredible video. I've got to tell you, I've never watched anything that's related to a story in the news that had a greater emotional impact on me than watching your video. For those who haven't seen it, just tell us your story.
Well, I mean, the day that I did that video, basically they started the lockdown, they closed outdoor dining 2 days before Thanksgiving without any notice. So our last night was the night before Thanksgiving. And I had to tell my staff that I would like to stay open for takeout, but I lose so much money doing it that if I did that, I may not be able to ever reopen again. So I had to shut down. That Friday, I was coming in to give last paychecks, and we had taken what food would go bad and put it in grocery bags for the staff. I also had decided, ironically, you know, the week before that I was not going to be afraid and I was going to start speaking out. So I was trying to plan a protest. I came into my parking lot and there was my, you know, when I come in the back, it was very surreal because, shocking. I have my patio that I have spent, you know, I'm living off loan money, sitting there shuttered. And then right there in the same parking lot within 20 steps was the same exact
We're seeing
setup
that right now, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, the same exact setup for a movie crew to eat lunch and stuff, catering truck and, you know, a tent for 200 people, it seemed like to me. I don't know. I was in shock. And I went into my restaurant and was like trying to stay focused to get things together, and I just broke down crying. And then I got angry and I said, I have to tell the truth. I mean, I think as business owners, we're afraid to say anything because we're afraid to be taken like we don't care about people if we stay open, or we're just worried about us. But, you know, I have 10 people working for me that I had to tell they have no job right before Christmas with no notice. And I just said to my friend who was there, I got to film this. I got to let the world see. People have to know the hypocrisy of what is going on, and it makes no sense.
Exactly. None of it makes sense. And the other point is that you, just like so many small businesses, you've been responsible. You put in the investment so that you could be open with outdoor dining and do it in a safe manner. You've done all the things that we would want people to do, and still they crush you. It's so enraging. Angela, I saw that the mayor, Eric Garcetti, put out a statement saying, oh, his heart goes out to you, but he's still going to keep you shut down. What's your response, and what do you want to say to him?
You know, I mean, what I want to say to him is that as business owners, we have done everything you wanted, and we will do whatever it takes to keep our people safe. We know COVID's out there, but you're living in la la land if you think the rest of us, the middle class and the lower middle class, can actually stay at home. We are going, you know, I have a single mom with a child who can't pay her rent. I've got another new hire because we actually got busy in October with the patio, and it looked like things were going to turn around, who is couch surfing because she no longer has an apartment and her unemployment has run out. It is ridiculous. And as politicians or a mayor of a city, it is your job to look at risk assessment and to do, you know, the gentleman you just had on, it was brilliant. Can he talk to Mayor Garcetti? Because the decisions that are being made make no sense. And, you know, Beverly Hills, their council voted to keep it. Pasadena's open. The sheriff is, you know, what a wonderful sheriff to say he wouldn't enforce it. But, you know, they're threatening to take liquor license and health permits away if we defy it and open. But what are we supposed to do? How are we going to eat? How are we going to keep a roof over our head? Like, they're not, like you said, you know, the suicide rate You know, this single mom with a child who can't pay her rent. I said, you know, I'm going to do
It's so
everything I can to see if I can find you work. And she's like, Angela, all I know how to do is bartend or wait tables. And I said, well, what have you been doing?
So
she's
disgusting.
like, well, it's disgusting. And she's like, well, I did get on some antidepressants. She doesn't need pills. She needs a job.
I don't want to. It's just. This is so outrageous. Honestly, I've just got to tell you, thank you, Angela, for speaking up. I want to stay in touch with you because you're such a powerful voice. You've joined. You're really leading the resistance to all this. We've got to fight back against this because their rules make no sense. They're ridiculous. They're not based on science. It is completely unacceptable, and we should not accept it. I'm sorry, we've got to go now, Angela, but I just want to thank you for what you're doing, and let's stay in touch and follow the campaign, and we're right behind you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Officials continue facing backlash from small business owners as they impose more draconian coronavirus restrictions. Last night, Dirty Jobs host Mike Rowe joined Hannity to discuss the new measures. Take a look.
It's been a slow burn for me, to be honest, but I have come to the point where, you know, Candace mentioned irredeemable and deplorable. There's a new word for 40 million people in this country, non-essential. And it's crazy. We have deemed a giant hunk of our people essentially one click away from unimportant or worthless. What happens to an economy when you call men like those non-essential people?
Meanwhile, in California, there are reports of growing Democratic support for a recall of California Governor Gavin Newsom. A group seeking to oust Newsom already has over 800,000 signatures, over halfway to the 1.5 million they need by mid-March to get the recall effort on the ballot. And on the other coast in New York, in response to Governor Cuomo closing indoor dining, one New York City restaurant owner, Rocco Sacramone, dined outdoors in a snowstorm. Watch this.
So, as you can see, we're having outdoor dinner. Only 4 of us, so I hope we're not breaking the rule. The pizza on the snow plate here looks nice. We're gonna have a little piece of mozzarella. Guys, mozzarella on the snow plate also here. So this is how we're gonna be doing now outdoor dinner or outdoor lunch in New York City from today on.
Joining us now with more is the New York City restaurant owner you just saw, Rocco Sacramone. I hope I pronounced your last name right. And Fox News contributor Emily Campagno. I know I pronounced her name right. Rocco, thanks for joining us here. Explain to people at home what you're going through in your restaurant.
Hi, thanks for having me on, Jason. Well, it's really tough times right now for the restaurant, any restaurant in the city. The motive of that video is not to mock anyone, but it was just to show how it's almost impossible to have dinner outside in New York City in the month of December in the middle of a snowstorm, or rather it's when the temperatures are in the 20s and 30s. Tents do not work, heaters do not work, none of the stuff work, and it's impossible to make a patron to give them a full satisfaction, a full experience of a dining experience at the restaurant.
So Rocco, if you had an opportunity to talk to Governor Cuomo or to Mayor de Blasio for that matter, what would you tell them?
Well, we should follow the science. I totally agree. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but we should, before we make any decision to shut something down, let's not just shut down because we want to shut down. You know, let's think about it first. I mean, this is the month of December. Okay, we have Christmas is here. My restaurant went from 35 to 40 employees. We went to 4 or 5 maybe. You know, so let's just not to hurry up things and just do it just because we need to shut down.
Now, Emily, Rocco makes a good point because there isn't science back that I'm aware of that supports this idea. So how do you think the courts are going to look at this? Your background is in the law.
Well, we've seen one case thus far where a judge did rule in the California Restaurant Association's favor and said, you're right, the science at this point hasn't differentiated between indoor and outdoor dining and the transmissions thus far. But after that, the governor issued another edict banning outdoor and indoor dining. And then that's what we've heard sort of a lot of headlines about the strip club ruling. Well, just a couple hours ago, the ruling that enabled the strip clubs to remain open and applied to all of San Diego County restaurants. Now that was overturned at the appellate level. And keep in mind too, to Rocco's point, a lot of restaurant owners, even with the ruling, said, well, we don't want to open because we can't put that resources into it if we know that we might get shut down really soon afterward. So it's not that this green light has any type of dependability whatsoever, because they're used to the fact that it's green light, red light throughout this whole thing with absolutely no science to back it up. So there's no way of predictability with this at all, let alone bringing employees back.
So, Rocco, what are you going to do? What do you tell those employees, and what do you tell the people that love going to your restaurant?
Well, I mean, I feel really bad for my, for my employees. I mean, we have people that have been working at the restaurant for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. How do you let someone go after all this time? I mean, they impose so many rules and regulations on us, right? We also had a filtration system, a Puridyne, that is supposedly. It's supposedly clear the air against SARS and all. But then we do all this work and then we get shut down again. So I'll give you an example of what happened today. Today we have no internet, we have no phone lines, we have nothing. So how are we going to deliver today, for example? How do there's no solution to this problem. I mean, we just keep on dragging it.
Emily, Rocco, your food looks great, and I wish you the best. Emily, I've got about 15 seconds here. Can these people like Rocco prevail in the courts?
I hope so. As an attorney and just as an American, my heart goes out to you, Rocco. Your food looks delicious, and I do hope that we will see some type of comfort for all of you.
I got to tell you, Rocco, you represent a lot of people from coast to coast, because business is hard enough. It's hard enough to be an employee and have to rely on tips and those types of things. But God bless you, because you make a good product and it is essential. So thank you so much for that.
The restaurant owner, he is fighting back against draconian lockdown measures, with this exchange with California regulators now going viral as he fights for the survival of his employees and his business. Watch this.
I followed the rules. I continue to follow the rules, and you guys still, time after time, are giving me citations, telling me I have to close my business.
You're not.
What about my employees?
You're not following the rules.
I am following the rules. My tables are inside. Just because the health department has the whole process to go through that takes however long that takes, I have to close my business for that time? Are you going to pay my rent?
Joining us now with an exclusive interview, the restaurant owner in his now viral video, Anton Van Happen. Anton, first of all, I'm sorry you're going through it. Tell us how this all happened.
So, hi, Sean. What happened was on Friday evening, I spoke to the health department that afternoon, and I said, hey, listen, I'm going to put my tables outside as a protest, but I'm still going to serve everything to go. I'm not going to serve any of my customers outside, and it's their own prerogative. Whatever they do is what they do. I'm not in a position to tell people what to do. He was okay with that because I'm allowed to protest, and instead of sticking by his word, he sent, or two health inspectors came that evening, and they're like, listen, you need to shut down and close down this restaurant. Here's your closure notice. So I said, listen, if I tip these tables inside right now, can we just skip this whole process? And I'm following the rules, I'm abiding by your rules. Can we just call it quits and give me a warning and I can go on about my business? They said, nope, sorry, here's your closure notice, you gotta close. And I said, well, you guys aren't open till Monday, so I have to sit Saturday and Sunday with my restaurant closed? I'm like, that's not possible. I have rent to pay, I have my employees to pay. So I ended up just staying open Saturday, Sunday. That same health supervisor called me on Monday morning, and we had a conversation, which I actually recorded. And I said, listen, you didn't stick to your word last time. And he said, no, well, I'll stick to my word this time. If you send me an email and you tell me that you're going to comply with our rules and regulations, which I told him I had been over the weekend already, he said that he would lift the closure off of my restaurant. So I said, all right, just make sure, I'm recording you right now, make sure that you stick to your word. He said, I will stick to my word. So 2 hours later, I got an email from him saying, you know what, actually, we found out that your restaurant was open on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I'm taking that back, and your restaurant needs to close immediately. right when that was all sorry, go ahead.
No, keep going. I want to hear your story.
Okay, so right when all of that was happening, a guy named Jorge Ventura, who has his Twitter page, was interviewing me at the same time while I was that frustrated. And just as we were ending the interview together, another two health inspectors walked into the restaurant. And that's the video that went viral. Basically, I went in and I started talking to them, and they were like, "You need to close your restaurant." I said, "Why? I'm complying. It's not like I have tables outside. I'm not breaking the rules. I'm complying now." I'm like, "Why do you guys keep poking at me? I've already complied to what you guys want." It's almost like I have my hands tied. If I put tables outside, I'm gonna get a citation and I need to close. I put my tables inside, same thing. It's like, why can't you just leave me alone and let me go about my business? I was able to protest for my 2 or 3 hours, which you guys agreed upon. So let me be now. I don't. And then yeah, anyway, it went viral from there. So that's the story, and that's what happened. They didn't keep their word.
Yeah, and then you have your governor sitting like this close to the next person, eating dinner. Great visual. I wish you and your business the best. I wish the best for your employees. People need to hear how hard this is on people like yourself to put it all on the line for your customers. Unbelievable.
Well, it hurts us, definitely. From a sales perspective, we can't serve outside anymore. So it's a little bit disappointing that we would be the ones to get shut down, where we've worked so hard to get to a safe place for our clients. This is the busiest time of the year for restaurants. I would say a lot of people would normally be getting together or having holiday parties. So we've lost all of our private party business. We've lost all catering business.
So I think across the board, you're seeing a lot of small businesses struggling to navigate the pandemic, struggling to understand what their state regulations are, and then really waiting on the federal government to pass relief that will support them and help them. Our most recent survey was in mid-October, and 1 in 3 small businesses said they wouldn't be able to survive the next 3 months without federal relief. We're going to see foot traffic obviously diminish. Who knows how that's going to impact their overall bottom lines, which have severely been undercut during the duration of the pandemic. So I think what's most concerning right now for us is making sure that those small businesses are taken care of with some sort of stimulus relief package.